Good morning, traders and investors around the world. Welcome to this Friday, December 23rd edition of Pre-Market Prep Plus. Joel Elconin riding solo here on this Friday. S&P Index Futures. We've had a chop fest going on so far today. Right now, the slight advantage goes to the Bears as we are in the red by 5.5 handles at 38.43.75. Pre-market low down at 38, 30, 50. Hit that, got a nice bounce up. Couldn't take out that pre-market high. So, man, oh man, could it just be one of these days where you go down and make a new low and then you come back and you rally, have a real chop? Or if we have a major trend day here, and that trend day would be if we smash through that pre-market low at 38, 30, 50. We don't have much on the downside until we get to that. Absolutely nothing on the downside till we get to yesterday's low at 37.8850. If in fact the bulls can revive the market, get us back to that pre-market high at 71.50, don't get too excited. You have the intraday high from yesterday at 75.50. Chelly, don't take the market so personal. The market's not out to hurt you. Welcome, joining us. Let's run down. There's something besides the S&Ps to follow, and we're going to look at the dollar index. The dollar futures is what I look at. We're down about 9 cents. Anything jumping out to me on the chart? Absolutely not. Maybe some major resistance here coming up with a series of highs. Where do those highs come in at? A little bit higher, 104.50. That's a ways away. Couple lows in the same area, but looks like a quiet day on the dollar. The bond, the 30-year bond. I mean, we talked with Mark Chaikin about this yesterday. That's where the money's supposed to be long term. That's where the money's gravitating is as the Fed pushes us into a recession. You got some nice support here in the bond market. You got three lows here in the 30-year futures right at 127. Let's call it 127 and 30 seconds. Crude, 80's the battleground now. You had a high yesterday. You took out a double top, then a triple top. You had the high yesterday, 79.90, current high 79.71. So they're battle for $80 in crude. Gold is probably having a red week. It's been all over the place this week. Up $8 at 1803.30. Looks like we're working on just a quiet day in the gold market, an inside day. Silver performing a little bit better on a percentage basis. That's up 26 cents or 25 cents at 23.87. And Bitcoin futures. I mean, I could keep talking about Bitcoin futures, but man, they're just not moving. They're up $60 at 16,795. Florida, EKS. Good morning. Good morning. Want to see some symbols out of you guys. Florida. I've had a pretty good feel for Apple here this week. As you can see on the chart, we had that major support, right? You hit it 4 times. Well, the 5th time was the charm. We had the bad day. 130, you got 2 lows in the same area, and that's just above that June low that you were talking about. So if you're bullish the market, Apple being the biggest component of the S&P 500, that SPOO's rally could go with you. It's just as many times as this 134, 135 area was support. I expect that to be resistance as much. Yeah, on Wednesday, we got a little giddy when we went to 36.81. Closed above it. Yesterday's high, 34.56. That seemed a long ways away. So until we could get some sustained closes over the former lows of the move, maybe just a little trading range here. And it kind of feels like this 135 area as we speak right now is a little bit of the top of the trading range. But we'll discuss that on Tuesday. As I mentioned, Gene Munster will be joining us at 9:05. And I tell you, I got to hand it to Gene because he's really been tepid on the market this year as far as deploying assets, and he's in the triple D camp, man. He's waiting for some further downside, a very high cash holding. But we'll get those details from Gene. And And hold on here. Let's see here. We're gonna get rid of that, and there we go. All right, let's see if we can get rid of that again and again. This is why it's good to have a producer with you, so you don't have to put up with this kind of stuff. There you go. All right. So what is going on? EKS. What do you think of Calm, the egg company? It came up on my my value scan. We're going. What? Where's a 3 star on this one? Well, EKS. We talked to about the levels and just my significance of the levels. And wow, egg company, huh? Oh, Calbine Foods. Wow. All-time high. I don't know much more what you can ask for here. Um, good. If not trying to sell it, like not trying to pick a top, I look at the lows of the last 2 sessions at 62.80 and a breach of that, then you got to be prepared for some downside. You've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 day winning streak. Let's take out the all-time high at 63.61. And even though you didn't take that out yesterday, you did post an all-time closing high at 63.08. Trading up in the pre-market. So let's hold 63. And with this one, as I said, I don't follow it a whole lot. I mean, I believe this is a value stock. We're expecting the momentum to continue in these stocks. If you got a price target, up 64, 65, take it. I will say it was an inside day here after the big move up. So maybe if you get a couple days of consolidation, hold that 62.80 area, boom, you get another move higher. So the only 3 star I have for you is on the downside, and that's the pair of lows from Wednesday and Thursday. Let's call it, they're a little bit lower, 61.60. 2 star on the upside here at that all-time high, 63.61. And of course, a focus on improving on that close. So let's go here. Crazy. I want to see if I missed any stocks up here. Don't want to miss a stock for Martin Contreras, Palo Alto Networks. See what I can discover in this one. Trading up. Wow, this thing's got absolutely hammered, up 75 cents. The only thing you can lean on, I mean, this 140 is the level of levels you can see on the monthlies. It held here, looking to do a swing trade or whatever. Under 140, you got to let that go. I don't like the way the monthly chart looks between 120 and 140. Just on a shorter term, man, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lower highs, 7 lower lows. I don't know about 7 lower closes, but that's definitely, that string will not last forever. If you want to look at it on strength today, Martin, maybe hopefully it gets above yesterday's high at 145.48. But this is a loser for the year. It still looks like you have selling pressure on it. 140, I'll give that 5 star support. And gonna break this string here of lower highs, lower lows, and lower closes. Just wishing I could tell you when that is going to be. So that's Palo Alto Networks. Match Group fits chat message. If you want to look at Match Group, I can. The ranking system is just based on how many times it hits a level. Tatiana Cadet, Tesla for today, choppy. Well, I talked about Tesla. I got an important number for Tesla. If you're a short-term trader, I'm keeping an eye on 131.50. Any kind of pop up to that area, to me, on a short-term trade would be a sell. You establish a bid above 131.50. Maybe you work your way more into yesterday's range. I imagine with the talk, the must talk on Spaces last night. Not necessarily looking for it to like smash through yesterday's low. If the market rolls over, sure, but I think maybe you find some buyers here ahead of that 122.26. Let me pull up the pre-market trading for this issue, see if there's anything good here in the pre-market. Always looking for follow through. Pre-market high when Musk was speaking was 129.75. and your after hours low comes in at 124.36. So getting a little bit of a trading range today. And yeah, it has been choppy. So first things first, let's take out that pre-market high, keeping a close eye on 131.50. All right, that's Tesla for today. Rivian becoming a teenager quickly. Here's a stock. People still probably sitting on huge losses from the year, up 9 cents. What I mean, just getting just lambasted over the last couple days. You did rebound a little bit into the close. Let's look at yesterday's high in this one. I mean, that's really the way up at 2081. Look at that. Also, a new all-time closing low at 1973. So, uh, if you're leaning on one single bottom, that's it at 1892. I don't expect, I mean, first things first, you got to rally a buck to get to yesterday's high. So, sure look like another lower high today as people are exiting this stock just after a bad year. So, that is a look at Rivian. GSK still giving a shot. Okay, well, this is, probably not going to get rich looking at GSK. Dennis talked about that he did buy that yesterday. It got a nice nod from Mark Chaikin yesterday, who's made some good calls over the years. Had some spike on some good news, and one thing that one trading strategy that Dennis and I have talked about and employed over the years is when you have some good news on a stock or talk of a takeover or something, and you get the wild move. Well, you don't want to chase it, right? But if it comes back down to the area that it was at before, and this was at that day at bottom in the lower 34 handle, but basically it came back to the $35 area. This also pays a dividend, so you get paid to wait. This has been GSK. This is really hasn't participated in the healthcare rally, something like Merck. Wow, Merck is just hanging up here. You got boy, look at that chart. Tight. Hasn't participated like Pfizer. Let's see the resistance at 52 in Pfizer. S&Ps, man, it's tough sledding here, folks, today. Yeah, you got your sellers out there, and we're not getting above unchanged here. So if you're looking at your stocks and you're looking at resistance, it looks like people are anxious to get out at the mark. Now you don't know what's going to happen with that 10 o'clock number. I know that there's U of M consumer sentiment also a little bit thinner today, right? Because of the holiday trading. But that is just something to keep an eye on. The lows in your stocks from yesterday, I don't know if you're going to get there because it was a pretty big beat down, and I don't know if there's going to be enough selling pressure. Of course, once you take out the pre-market low, there's not much support in here. The low from yesterday was at 38.30.50. So got a few minutes left here before the opening of the regular session. Please throw any symbols that you need to cover on this Friday before the holiday 3-day weekend. Also, keep in mind here if you're holding any options or you're expiring next week, you're going to get a little bit more decay as the markets are not going to be open on Monday. So please keep that in mind. Getting some questions here on a stock that just had earnings last week, or I think earlier this week. General Mills had they hit it off the earnings, even though the earnings weren't that bad, and you got the pop. But you got a good level here now. You got a real good level to keep an eye on. 85.50. You hit that the rebound day. You hit that yesterday. So it looks like the 88 sellers are coming down to 85.50. The longer it takes to get to that 85.50, I expect a little bit more here on the downside. But once again, this is a strong stock moving in. It's been the trade so far for the year. So maybe you won't get the major turn in the downside in that until next year. Let's see here. Tatiana Cadet asking about AMD. Chips, man. Blame Micron yesterday. Just want to touch on Micron yesterday. We gave you that that monthly low, and it did kiss it and it did return from it. So that's your big level. That was your driver in the chip stocks yesterday. AMD had a strong, did we close up near the highs of the session? Let's look at it. Yeah, no, not quite. 66.31. I don't think you're going to see that today, just the way the markets are trading. Um, I'd have to call resistance at the close right now at 63.86. Wow, this really took a haircut yesterday. If in fact you can get through that closing price, you're going to need the spoos to have a rally. I don't think we have enough gas to get up to 66.31. That was your high from yesterday. Coming back on the downside, I really like the $60 level as support. So if we come down and take out that low at 62.26, did you get a gap fill yesterday? Yeah, you got an easy deetsy time. I'd say halfway decent support at that low, which is the gap fill. But the better support here, if they take AMD out to the woodshed here, that would be your low from November 9th, and that comes in at 59.80. Netflix holding up very well in this mess. I will just tell you that Mark, he talked about Tesla going to 50. He mentioned to me on the show that the power gauge has turned positive for Netflix, and he is very bullish Netflix in 2023. So you can take that for whatever it's worth. Yesterday's guest, Mark Chaikin. Looking at this, it's trading down 75 cents. You had some bad news that came out. Bad news was kind of confirmed. For today, you're trading down 75 cents. You might have some pig in action at 300. Your 2-day high comes in at 30066. So, the people that have the 300 calls and 300 puts, that's probably where the open interest is. Don't know if it's going to have enough gas to ping there. Yesterday's low on the downside, if the S&Ps keep this kind of momentum going, that's way down to 290.81. So I expect to find some support ahead of that. Still haven't filled the earnings gap. I wouldn't expect a big move on the upside. In Netflix, I think you need a strong market. You need a strong 300 bid. Double close area of importance. Wednesday's close. Wow, this is pretty interesting. Wednesday's close 97.96. And yesterday's close 97.75. So you are right there, Florida, considering it's held up pretty well. So that's a take a look at Netflix. If you want to know more about Netflix, then tune in Tuesday, I believe at 9:50. As I mentioned, we are going to be doing an extended pre-market prep show. We're going to be going from 8 o'clock all the way to 11. And my guest coming in at 9:50 will be Michael Pachter. So we'll get his kind. He made a good call at Netflix when it was closer to 200. I think he had a 250 or 260 target. So we'll let him recalibrate his ratings on that and see what he has to say. But be sure to tune in on Tuesday. That will be on the Benzinga channel. Let's see. We did AMD, FTX strong. This kind of tricked me yesterday. I just thought with the down market that they would give it would give some back. I guess they like these cost cutting moves, ignoring what's going on with their EPS. But you got a good number to focus on if you want another move higher in this. You got a really good number. Now make this a 3-star. 176.30. Was your high before the earnings, before the mess. That was a day or two after the CPI number. And you got up to 175.77 yesterday. So knock out that 176 seller, gauging that area. You got some more room. The next daily high comes in at 180.93. High close for the rebound too. So if you're playing this from the long side, make sure it establishes a bid early on above that close from yesterday at 175.69. Blind trader putting in his calendar. Okay. CVX, the strong of the strong. Once again, referring to Mr. Chaikin yesterday, the power gauge has turned to the negative side in CVX. To me, this 175 area, 175. I'm even going to go with the last two sessions, 175.21, 175.96. I'd say 175 and a half. You're still $2 away from there. If in fact you can't get back to that 175 and a half, maybe roll out, come back down, establish some highs above the 170 area. I think also if you're looking longer term on CVX here, basically had a high at 190, a low at 167, 77, 87. So that's 23.12. Add 12 to the 167.10. So that's 170, 179, 180. So a little bit longer term here. If this is not the beginning of a much bigger decline in CVX, it really needs to get back up to this 179, 180 area. No daily levels in that area. Establish a bid and keep on going. But shorter term, looking at that 175 half area's resistance. Crude's having a good day, so you could see that 175, 175 and a half area. That big number for crude, $80. We just went up and made a new high, and yesterday's high was in that area as well. You owned it. We'll be watching. You've had it for 22 years, so that's one way not to get shaken out of the market. You hold it that long. All right, so we're going to do one more here before we wrap things up on this Friday. The triple Qs. Boom, new low of the move yesterday, traded down 97 cents at 265.65. This is a tough one. I don't think we're going to be seeing that high at 270.51. Way I'm seeing now, I don't know if you're going to get back to that low at 262.46. But that's really your major number, really kind of out here in no man's land. I couldn't get excited at all on the upside about this if I was long, or people that are long are going to be looking to get out at the mark. So the longer it takes to get up to that closing price, 66.76, sometimes you get these real quick rallies off the open where they just buy. Sometimes you get things to unchanged, but finding a level on the downside, don't think we're going to see that low of 162.46. So if you're looking to cover short, you might have to find an intermediate level. Nice look at the Qs. Thanks for joining me here on this Friday morning. Everyone, have a good trading day. Relax on Saturday. I know it's Christmas Eve day for you guys tomorrow. For many of you, Christmas on Sunday. Monday, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I think the spoos are going to be closed, but just spend times with your family. Be appreciative of this year, even though it maybe hasn't been the greatest for your portfolio. Let's get psyched for next week. As I mentioned, tune in Tuesday, pre-market prep. We're going to have a whole list of experts joining the show, give their opinions on the market. And if you know me and Dennis, we'll throw a couple of our opinions in too. Everyone, go get them back at 10:30 with pre-market prep with Stock Odds.